Efren Beltran. You got a nice rhyming name there, bud. With Marvel making big decisions and having the X-Men and Fantastic Four in the MCU and James Gunn's universe growing, which are you most excited for in terms of what the future has for us, and which franchise do you think would be fans' favorite when they get asked the question, Marvel and DC? Oh, boy. I mean, right now I am very excited for the DCU simply for the fact that...
streets.
What?
He's from Step Up to the Streets. Harry Shum Jr.'s from Step Up to the Streets.
Okay.
He's also in Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I knew him from Step Up to the Streets.
Okay, I've seen this chap.
He's in Crazy Rich Asians.
Okay.
But that right there
okay.
is Step Up to the Streets, Harry Shum Jr.
All right.
Sorry to interrupt. I was vexed.
If only we could have had him bust a move in this movie.
I wish I'd known. Brainiac 5
missing.
can dance. I was listening to half of that. I'm so sorry.
It's all good with Marvel making big decisions and having the X-Men and Fantastic Four in the MCU and James Gunn's universe growing. Which are you most excited for in terms of what the future has for us, and which franchise do you think would be fans' favorite when they get asked the question, Marvel or DC? I'm going to assume you mean in light of, when those movies come out.
It's very early. I would say Marvel and DC. I don't like the choice of tribalism in comics. Like, I think I didn't feel comfortable talking about DC for a very long time because of the toxicity of the fandom. And I think pitting people against other fans is what got it worse. So I go to the comic store. I don't go to the Marvel store. I don't go to the DC store. I don't go to the Image store. I go to the comic store. So I want to enjoy comics, and I don't think publishers have animosity. I think they have healthy competition. I think the better DC does, the better Marvel has to do. The better Marvel has done has made DC up their game. So I think DC is in an incredible position right now, and I think Superman looks amazing. I think The Penguin is one of the best comic book shows of all time. I think they're in a really, really, really good spot. I think Peacemaker was exceptional. I think Marvel had an incredible run with Thunderbolts, has a very good-looking Fantastic Four, and then X-Men are beloved. So I think the best problem is which one comes out next and how good will it be to make the other one go, oh, we got to up our game. So as someone that goes to the comic store, I like comics.
Hey, I like that answer, Coitus. I am going partisan, though. No. Yeah, I mean, the DCU certainly has my attention more in the sense that I have worry for both. I am a little more... I am a bit more in tune with the excitement of that prospect when it comes to DC, whereas Marvel, I am a bit more in tune with the anxiety of the prospect because, Marvel is in the midst of a run and needs to reestablish a consistency. And so there is a difference in... It's just interesting to watch them wriggle because they're working with a lot of the same parts and pieces and people, whereas DC is a largely new apparatus. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like who's going to choose which one as their favorite, I feel like there probably are more numerable Marvel movies than DC movies by now, but like, I don't know. Like, it's hard to say because I feel like, yeah, it partly depends on your taste in the flavor of each universe, and then it also depends on just, which characters you like the best and how well or not their movies have achieved what they were trying to achieve. So, like, yeah, I couldn't really speak. I don't want to be, like, a disappointing answer, but, like, I don't know, really, which one you would come out with just based on the movies. Like, if you're talking animated movies, from what I gather, people strongly prefer the DCs. We've clearly watched way more of those here.
I've barely touched on Marvel animated.
Yeah.
And I didn't really love What If, so I would lean DC, but only because I haven't been exposed to as much Marvel.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see the Marvel animated movies that fit into this lane. But yeah, when it comes to big screen, I feel like it's really hard to look at either franchise from the outside and go, I think people are going to side with one or the other, because it's like you got to filter it through who likes what characters, who likes what tone, which of the movies appeal to who.
I also would have said before Thunderbolts, like DC, because of the bold swings they're making with directors, and they are, like Craig Gillespie and what they've got with James Mangold and like all those things. But then Thunderbolts was such a director's movie that I was like, oh, they trust a director to make his vision. So now I'm like, maybe both will. So I go back to like, I'm excited for both to do well.
Yeah, same. Like I'm excited for the prospect of what DC has going right now because of the whole, like, we're not shooting for release dates. We want to make sure the scripts are good. And we are clearly, I think, more we'll see how it goes in practice. I get more of a vibe coming down from DC that they want to make a wider variety of movies on a wider variety of budgets so that they don't all have to be $250 million. Whereas I feel like Marvel kind of operates solely in that one massive caliber lane. And I feel like I would be more excited for Marvel if they would diversify that.
Same.
And have some lower budget fare, some stuff that's a little different in sensibility, and that makes it way less of a crazy gamble to give a movie over to a filmmaker. So I guess for that spirit of the problem with DC is we've been proven over time that that can go wrong.
Yeah.
The trouble with all this is creative driven stuff, giving it over to the authors is great, but if it goes wrong,
it really affects everything.
Then it affects everything, and then going over to committee, you're like, well, this isn't ideal, but there are ways in which you can wind up with a bit more consistency that way. So ultimately, yeah, I'm excited for both to do well, but I am more effortlessly excited for what DC's got coming.